What's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another little stream for you this evening, just with the latest United news and reaction to the Cristiano Ronaldo interview part 1, part uno, that was just played, of course, on YouTube with Piers Morgan, etc. So we're going to cover all the reaction and the fallout of this first part of the interview. Of course, it is only half of the interview. There's plenty left to come, so that's going to be happening tomorrow. But we're here to talk about the sort of other things, the revelations that have come out during this interview tonight in regards to Cristiano Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan. Just to hear different takes on it as well. Get your thoughts and opinions throughout. It's a fully interactive show, so make sure you do get your thoughts and opinions in there throughout, guys. Smash that like button at the start of this show as well. And as I say, everyone's welcome in the chat to have your say and voice your opinions throughout. We'll have a Q&A at the end of the show as well, so we'll get deep into the comment section and see what everybody's thinking about this whole palaver in regards to Cristiano Ronaldo at the club. Thank you, everyone, for being here, by the way. Let's just give a few shout-outs to some legends. Richard, Andy, Aidan, Nosage, Declan, James Smith, Kingslayer, LFC, Chris Cragg, Illy United, and what's going on, Madhouse, and Rush Marno, and Jonathan Gallagher, and Momo Mino, and everyone as well. Thank you very much for getting in the stream tonight. Do smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, get yourself involved in the stream. We got a super chat early doors here from Ronnie Dodge. Thank you, Ronnie. Long-time legend. Hope you're keeping well. He says he's definitely gone after throwing teammates. Yep, well, there you go. We're going to get into all of that very, very soon. But I agree. I don't think Ronaldo's really going to play for Manchester United again. It's pretty obvious. He's put himself in a position now where he's obviously looking to move on, and he's going to get his move because there's no way that the Glazer shithouses or Man United's hierarchy will tolerate this sort of bad mouthing of their ownership, and even though we all know it's true. So those are the things that are going to get him sacked as well. And of course the comments in regards to his teammates and in regards to Ten Hag, but that's coming tomorrow mainly. Simon Warner, thank you for the £2 super chat. He says, good evening. It's just 2 hours before my 59th. Well, happy birthday for later, Simon Warner. Let's get some birthday cakes in there for Simon. Have a great day, you legend. That's awesome, mate. Happy birthday at midnight, bud. Yeah, so appreciate you so much for getting in there with that, man. Have a fantastic birthday, lad. Enjoy your last birthday of your 50s. Now, in regards to another old man, no disrespect, Cristiano Ronaldo, 37 years of age, still acting like a bitty big bollocks, isn't he? Now, let's analyse and discuss and get into now what was sort of said mainly in the interview tonight. I'm sure all of you watched it on YouTube. So essentially, we know some of the information was coming out. So he did say essentially that he says, I really thought that everything would have changed after 13 years being away, but then I was surprised in a bad way. Everything was the same. So just further words to suggest that the Glazer shithouses just have lacked investment in all areas of this football club. Maybe not in terms of spending out on players, because they've done that in the front of the shop window, but in the behind the scenes departments everywhere else, yes. I mean, further highlighting by Cristiano that the club is being left behind in terms of state-of-the-art facilities compared to clubs like he said, Real Madrid, Juventus, and a lot of the other top teams in Europe and even in England now. State-of-the-art facilities that teams like even Tottenham have or Man City have in sort of stadia and facilities and things like that. We aren't being left behind on. So I've got no issues with Cristiano highlighting these problems at the club. This is absolutely true. And it's been pretty awful sort of ownership of the club in most areas. Certainly that being one of them, the infrastructure and the investment in them. So no issues with him saying this at all. Chris Koo, thanks for your super chat, Chris Koo, lad. He says, is this the end of the Sue emote? A poo one now? Maybe, bud. Maybe. I mean, look, we'll have to wait and see. But maybe if Ronaldo goes in disgrace, how can we continue with the Sue emote? We're going to have to come up with a new one, absolutely. So thank you very much for that, by the way, Chris Koo. And also Matty Smith getting a poo-poo emoji in there. Guys, can we just take a second to put a poo in the live chat there then? P-I-U-U-U. Because that's what the situation is now. It turned into absolute poo, hasn't it? That's what's happened. It's not good, but anyway. So we don't have an issue with what he said about the football club. No dramas really. I think he's right. The facilities have been left behind, and Manchester United haven't invested in all areas. One thing that is not going to go down well is that he did say in that interview that a lot of the teammates, a few of them anyway, certainly some of the younger players, don't seem to really care. So he was quoted as saying, didn't specifically mention any names, but that really a lot of people just do not listen to him, like or do not really follow his examples. And he's got a point there. He's right. If that's happening, the new generation, they do get too much given to them all too soon. He's right in what he's saying, that a lot of them don't have to go through the suffering or the struggle to make it. They've already made it when they're 18. They've got a big money contract on millions of pounds a year and driving the posh cars and all that sort of stuff. And so do they really have that tenacity to make it for like maybe the generation before had? So I understand what he's saying there, and I kind of agree. I kind of agree with what he's saying there. But he did also, obviously, the fact that he said that about his teammates is not really going to go down well within the dressing room or within the management of the club. So that's going to be an issue. He didn't mention anybody specifically. He did highlight some players that are not included in this, such as, Diogo Dalot. He said Diogo Dalot is a young player, but very professional. I have no doubt that he's going to have longevity in football. A few others like him, probably Lisandro Martinez. Casemiro's in his 30s. So he included Casemiro. Now he said he's in his 30s. So he's had to go to a 30-year-old next. So what does that mean? Everybody other than them is not paying attention. I don't really know what he means, but obviously he's saying that he leads by example. And if he's the sort of guy that's, he's having the rye bread and the avocado in the morning, and there's Luke Shaw over opposite him scoffing down fucking Frey Bentos pies till the cows come home. Or, not necessarily Luke Shaw, I'm just using him as an example because he loves the Frey Bentos. And then, but other players, youngsters at the club, not looking to him for guidance, not looking to him for an example. Not everybody, but that's something that Ronaldo's highlighted in this interview, that perhaps the youngsters at the club just don't really seem to care as much as what he did when he was a youngster. And the fact that when he was young, he used to look up to people in the club like Keno. Said that Keno is the best captain he's ever had during this interview, by the way, which is nice to hear. And, people like Rio and Giggsy and all these people he's looking up to, like he would hang on their every word in regards to trying to learn and gain experience from them. And he basically just felt like the current young crop of generation of the players at Manchester United in general just don't really seem to pay him that same sort of attention or have that much interest, or even if they do get that information from Cristiano, it goes in one ear and out the other, and essentially they don't take it on board, is what he was saying. So, look, we can't really comment too much on that because we're not involved in the behind the scenes, trading, coaching, all that aspect of it, finding out what's going on with these players. But he's probably got a point, because a lot of these youngsters given so much too soon, they're an absolute bunch of melters. Smash a one if you agree that there probably is, not just at Man United, but in terms of the generation, they're just given too much too soon, and they don't have to go through the struggle. Smash a one if you agree with that statement by Ronaldo, because I do. Orlando Arellano, thank you for getting your super chat in here, bud. So sorry if I'm just ignoring the chat a little bit here, guys. I want to just get all this information out. We will get into the Q&A at the end. But he says that wasn't an interview. It was a first date. Piers Morgan absolutely hypothetically noshing him off throughout the whole show. I agree with you, bud, So it's an absolute fluffing of the ego there from Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan, what a greasy shithouse. The thing that annoyed me most about that interview is at the start of the interview, when Cristiano Ronaldo said, "I like you, Piers Morgan." It's like, hang on a second. I'm gonna have to adjust my whole worldview on Cristiano Ronaldo. He likes that tosser. Anyway, so that's why he's giving them the interview, because he likes him. But okay, so Cristiano Ronaldo likes Piers Morgan. That's the real headline. That's the real headline here. No, but in terms of the youngsters at the football club, it's nice to hear that he's praising people like Dalot. Is it just because he's Portuguese? I don't know, but seemingly he did also say Lisandro Martinez, and that's true. If you look at Lisandro Martinez, he's probably like the most Vidic-esque sort of player we've had since come in, with his tenacity and his battle and his hunger and his desire. And I think he's somebody that's definitely gone through the struggle, and I think he realises what an opportunity he's got. So I see what he says in regards to that. Now, he was also asked about Manchester United's appointment of Ralph Rangnick and the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And one of the things that he said about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is just that he absolutely loved him as a person, and that as far as he goes, as far as Solskjaer and Ronaldo goes, he's an absolute gem, essentially. And who could not really like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, let's be honest. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is just a super nice guy. And also in terms of a coach, Ronaldo didn't just come in And look, he obviously favoured Ronaldo. He's had that relationship with him as a player too. So they had a good relationship there. But it has to be said that, well, at the time, Manchester United just started to implode. He had a decent start at the club, obviously, scoring those couple of goals against Newcastle, and Solskjaer had a little bit of a boost at that time. Varane got injured, and it all went to shite. And, it was anybody's guess as to why it imploded so badly, but it did, and Solskjaer was sacked. And then they did appoint Ralph Rangnick. Now, that is strange. Now, at the time, I did really not understand why necessarily they'd done that. I understand why you'd put him in a backroom role because, yeah, he's got the experience there with running the football clubs. So I think Ronaldo has a point. I think it's a little bit harsh, really saying, like, I never heard of this guy and I don't know who this guy is and all that kind of stuff. Because clearly Rangnick has had a lot of coaching in the past. He just hadn't had any coaching done in the last recent years, and also the experience that he has in terms of football is large. But some valid points by Cristiano Ronaldo. It didn't really make sense to make him the manager. It made sense to put him in a behind the scenes department. But as I was saying when I had that little debate with my brother the other day, it's like, well, okay, but if there's nobody that's fit and available to actually come in, who's ready to come in and be the next manager, who's the right candidate, then you don't want to just give somebody, just for the sake of it, an opportunity. They should have just stuck with Ollie then, if they were going to do that. They might as well have just stuck with Ollie. If there's nobody available right now, might as well wait until Ten Hag was available in the summer, or someone was available in the summer who was actually the right candidate. So I understand why they've given the interim managership to Ralph Rangnick. So I think Ronaldo needs to sort of realise that too, is that it was an interim capacity. He always came in with the idea that he's just a substitute teacher who's taken over while Mrs. Johnson's on maternity leave. And then he's going to just leave and go into the consultancy role in the summer. That was always how it was. So, yes, it's bad from the club, though. I mean, it just doesn't really make sense. If you don't have somebody ready and available to come in, it's only because of, I guess, the fan pressure. And also, yes, we did have some horrendous results against some of our biggest rivals in City and Liverpool and stuff in the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign as to why he was actually sacked. So, I don't really care, to be honest, about his comments on Ralph Rangnick. Yeah, they might be a little bit harsh. I mean, I sort of understand and agree with what he's saying in regards to the poor appointments from the football club. Like, that is a bit of a red flag when you're appointing somebody that nobody's really heard of to come in there and manage, who's not managed for years either. So he is a football man. He has done fantastic things at football clubs. RB Leipzig's a fine example of that. But I don't think any of us could say that he was a shining candidate to come in and be in Manchester United's dugout last season and take over from Ollie. So, that didn't really make sense, to be fair. So he's got a fair point. It does just further highlight the shithouse owners and their piss poor decision-making. So there you go. Ronaldo, though, on Rangnick, this is what he said. He said, when you sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you should bring a top manager, not a sports director. He said, I love Solskjaer. I never saw Rangnick as the boss because I saw some points that I never agreed. So, I mean, he did say that he called him boss and he showed that respect, but essentially he wasn't really on board with what he was trying to do, and he just, it didn't really make sense to him. So there you go. I mean, some concerning words by Ronaldo as well in regards to things like, I never saw him as the boss, but neither did I. I never really saw Ralph Rangnick as the boss either, because he was just coming in as an interim and he was a substitute teacher. So neither did I. But some comments there, he said he isn't even a coach. Nothing changes. They stopped in a time. That surprised me a lot. So in terms of Manchester United said that we stopped in time. That really is, a damning indictment of what the Glazers have been doing. So since 2009, nothing has changed at Manchester United, really, in terms of like the facilities and even things like the equipment, kitchen equipment and things like that. He said it's all the same. So that is a big problem we got at the club, guys. It's just the lack of investment in all areas, man. That really annoys me, because all the other clubs are making strides and Man United's not. So I'm glad that he's done this interview, guys. Look, if Ronaldo should have probably ended up going in the summer, right? For the benefit of Manchester United and the style and the play and the future and everything, the baggage, the egos, everything, for the benefit of everything, the money, maybe it would have made more sense for him to go in the summer. I think with what's happened now, obviously it would have made more sense for him to go in the summer. But because he is going now regardless, I'm kind of happy that he's done this crazy interview and stuff in a way, because, listen, this is going to super highlight just how much of a bunch of shit houses the Glazers are. And we haven't even got to the juicy stuff yet, which is coming out tomorrow. So he makes a lot of valid points, and he's bringing a lot of eyes all over the world onto the ownership of Manchester United and the problems that we have. So right now, in a way, well, certainly tomorrow when there's more about the Glazers being discussed, this right now is probably the most eyes and ears you're going to get on this whole Glazers are a bunch of shithouses conversation. So for that reason, I say fair play to Cristiano Ronaldo for doing this. Obviously, we're not happy with some of the stuff he said about Ten Hag and a bunch of other things, which we'll get into. But for that reason, I'm happy about the fact that, that he's talking about it. So let's get a cheeky little hashtag Glazers out in the live chat, because they are a cancer of this football club, and that is the reason why we are not in the Champions League right now. We're not a success right now. It's because of their piss poor management of the club from the top down. Zayn Miyasi, thank you for getting in here with a super chat, lad. He says, why didn't Ronaldo have an escape clause where he could leave if United failed to get to the Champions League? Yeah, well, yeah, very good call, Zayn Miyasi. He would have probably, if he could go back in, I'm sure they probably have done something like that, bud. Maybe he does have a clause and it's for a bit of money, but nobody's come in with any interest. Or maybe it's just a case of, yeah, like you say, there is nothing there. I don't think there is one. So he probably just didn't realise when Man United had finished second. He said, actually, in the interview tonight, Zayn, he said that he never really thought after they finished second and Varane's come in and Sancho's been bought and he's come into the team, he never thought that they would have problems like they did, because they finished second basically, and he was going in with a couple of other really good players, one of which Varane, who he knows really well, and he thought that they would kick on and go to the next level, which I did as well, and I'm sure you all did too. So from that point of view, he probably just didn't think that there was any possibility that Man United couldn't finish in the top four with him and Varane and Sancho, these guys coming in. But I agree, it's a valid point. It's a valid point, mate. It's definitely a valid point. Thank you for all the Glazers outs in the live chat there, by the way. Yeah. Well, yep. Michelle says exactly he was right and he wasn't the first to say that stuff. Absolutely, he was right about what he said about the Glazers and their lack of investment in all areas. He's absolutely spot on. We've been talking about on this channel for a long time how the ownership of the club is the biggest problem why we aren't competitive on the football pitch. It's not just buying players. There's also the fact you had over the many years post-Fergie, you've got a bunch of wanky bankers and people making the football decisions. And that's going to be a big issue when you're trying to actually be successful as a football team. So yeah, no issue with that, really. I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one because he's doing a good thing by highlighting the Glazers out, but then there's all these negative points that are coming out. So let's get into the teammates that he discussed. So, of course, he did talk about Wayne Rooney, Gary Neville, people criticizing him. And, this is something that he was, I guess he felt some sort of personal slight for, because he said these are people that, like Wayne Rooney's had his son go around his house and they've gone to football together and things like this recently. And he wasn't too happy with some of the words that have been said. And he also brought up the fact that he's better looking than Wayne Rooney and all this stuff as well. But, okay, if people are talking in the press, that doesn't really bother me that much either, guys. I mean, I'd rather we're not hearing conversations or, these criticisms between ex-players, but everybody's grown-ups. They can make their own opinions and say what they want in the media. Wayne Rooney doesn't have to say anything in regards to Ronaldo. Ronaldo doesn't have to say anything in regards to Rooney. If they do, then that's up to them, really, isn't it? And who knows what's really going on. He did also say that players like Keane and Rio and these people, obviously, they've got a lot of praise for him all the time, or certainly Piers Morgan said that those guys are always sticking up for him all the time. So he's got his supporters as well. I personally don't think anything that Wayne Rooney's necessarily said is that bad, but if he's asked about Ronaldo in an interview, I guess he could just say just say no comment or not give his honest opinion. But if he's got an opinion and thinks that Ronaldo's not going to take it on the bench and all this sort of stuff, United, and he's asked about it, why wouldn't he just give his opinion on it? So I don't really think Wayne Rooney's done anything bad either. We got another highlighted member comment here from K Wars. Thank you, K Wars, for being a member for 1 year, bud, and getting your highlighted member comment in there. You legend. Let's get a hashtag 12 in there. 12 months of Don. Thank you very much, K Wars. He comments, agree with everything except for the Ten Hag comment. Good shout, K Wars, lad. Yes, I mean, I'm with you, bud. I'm totally with you, bud. As long as he hadn't have gone in on the new manager, who it's not his fault that Man United's in this situation. It's the previous regime, well, the previous managers, but also the regime up above, the hierarchy that is the biggest problem at the club. So I agree with that. We'll get onto that in a little bit, but thank you so much for being a member 12 months, you absolute legend. And Zayn Miyasi's super chat in here. He says, I don't like Morgan. He should be the Arsenal mascot instead. He pushed for hard lockdowns that destroyed the economy. We spent more money locking down than World War II. Yeah, well, you don't like him for that reason. I don't like him for the main reason, which is I find him to be an absolutely smarmy, repulsive shithouse. That's the main reason I don't like it. Second reason I don't like him is involved in that whole phone hacking scandal, which is absolutely scandalous, hence the word scandal. And third reason is he's just a bit of a prat, isn't he? He is a bit of a prat. So good shout there, Zamy Astley. I'm not a fan either. Not a fan either, mate. Oh, Gungshi, you hero. Let's go, Gungshi. Thank you so much for gifting out 5 members of the channel. Check that out, guys. 5 new members of the channel, thanks to the Don Gungshi Leone, who's gifted out 5 new members. Thank you, Gungshi. Let's get some raw love hearts in the live chat. Sorry, I had to go under the mic there, mate. Let's get some raw love hearts in the live chat. That's very kind of you, Gungshi. He's gifted out a membership to Adewale and also Danyahia Aria. And also, Exculation was gifted membership by Gungshi. And WWE Network Brothers is now a member, thanks to Gungshi. And Martin Carlo is now a member, thanks to Gungshi as well. Thank you so much, Gungshi, you bloody legend. Let's go. Thank you very much. 5 new members, courtesy of the Don. Appreciate that, my friend. By the way, everyone, I forgot to say, smash that like button on this stream. Yes, let's get 100 likes on the video. Smash the like. Give us a boost up there on the algorithm. Help us compete with the clickbait wankers and corporations and people like Shithouse Piers Morgan by smashing that like on the video. To be fair to him, he's got an amazing world exclusive here, hasn't he? This is going to be the most watched interview this year. And that's it, because Ronaldo likes him. That's why he's given this interview. Likes an Arsenal shithouse in Piers Morgan. That disgusts me. But anyway, so fair play though. Fair play though. So obviously a pretty impressive scoop that he's got there. Ronaldo interview unveiling all his feelings about United and the Glazers and everything. It's mad. It's actually mad. It just annoys me that he's chosen that particular person to do the interview with, because I think he's a twat. But there you go. It's each to their own. Each to their own. So I mean, let's have a little vote in the live chat, guys. Smash a 1 if you don't like Piers Morgan for whatever reason. Smash a 2 if you love him. Because that's it. I think he's one of those Marmite type people. You either love him or you hate him. I don't know. Okay. So, oh no, just loads of 1s coming in the live chat. Anyway, so this is interesting, guys, what I wanted to talk about very quickly here. So this is a video still from ESPN earlier, which is, Manchester United began taking down a mural at Old Trafford. And the mural is obviously, it's featuring Cristiano Ronaldo. So already changes being made in regards to Cristiano Ronaldo. I think the writing's pretty much on the wall here. I mean, it's early days. We've seen this statement from the club in the recent couple of days in regards to Manchester United saying that they'll wait until the whole interview's out and they can, they can make their, they can make their decisions and summary then. But essentially, I don't see a way back for Cristiano Ronaldo. I can't see how he's ever going to play for Manchester United again, really. It's probably gone beyond that. But just to get back onto some of the things that he said on the interview, just to cover a little bit more. He did say also that he was grateful to English fans and the fans in general, Manchester United and all the other clubs around England, with the support and the sort of reaction he got, of course, with the sad news that his son had passed away, and like the ovation he got at Liverpool and stuff like that, and got a letter from the royal family and all this malarkey. So there was some sort of positive stuff going on in the interview. It wasn't all just slaggery, but at the same time, most of it was to try and explain the situation and highlight the problems at Manchester United, which is an important thing. We need this to happen. Well, I want to reiterate, I don't have a problem with Cristiano Ronaldo doing this. I think it's actually very refreshing to see somebody open up like this on such a grand stage, who is the most famous person in the world. It is very refreshing, but also I do have a fundamental issue with disrespecting and slagging off the current manager who's only been here for a few months when he's trying to get this team, which we support, to play well. You know, it's none of these players' faults that the Glazers are absolute shithouses. So that's what I want to try and remember, is that we still want to see the team play well. We still want to see the team do well. We just want different owners at this football club. And unless you are put in the right direction and getting behind the manager and supporting the manager, you've got to go. Sir Alex Ferguson said it many times himself. You know, nobody's bigger than the manager. And as soon as somebody does become bigger than the manager or goes up against the manager, then they've got to go. And so for that reason, I think Cristiano Ronaldo has to go. Let's have a vote in the live chat, guys. What do you want? Not what do you think's going to happen. What do you want to happen on this then? Do you want him to stay or do you want him to go based on what's happened and what's coming out? Do you want him to stay or do you want him to go? What do you want? So, look, I love Ronaldo. It was an absolute dream come true, him coming back here. But I think if Manchester United are going to progress as a football club now and as a team this season as well, I don't really see Ronaldo part of that anymore because, well, he's just causing too much friction in the dressing room, and you can't be disrespecting the manager and saying things like he does, I don't respect him. You can't be saying things like that. So for that reason, he's already outed himself from the club. He's already just, in my opinion, made his bed now. So yeah, go, it's for the best, as Daniela. Yeah, so that's the thing. I think it's for the best of the team, for the good of the team now, even though it pains me to say it, because I do honestly love Ronaldo. You know, got just a great amount of respect for him. He's my favourite footballer, more or less, to watch of all time, more or less. Obviously, I've got a huge affinity for players like, you know, Cantona and Giggsy and Scholes and these guys. But Ronaldo, technically, in terms of the player, is probably the most impressive out of the lot in terms of his just raw ability and desire and career that he's had. His career is basically unparalleled in the modern game. So he is an unbelievable talent, but that's why it pains me to say it. But I think Man United's better off, definitely better off without this guy around now, with what's coming out. You know, he's already slagged off half the youngsters at the football club tonight. We've got more information coming out tomorrow, which is where the barbs are going to be in regards to Ten Hag, but also in regards to more about the Glazers and things like that. We know what he said in regards to Ten Hag. He said, I don't have respect for him because he doesn't show respect for me. So that's a pretty big stumbling block to get over for them to work out now a public show of disrespect from Cristiano Ronaldo towards Ten Hag. Ten Hag's just not going to take this on the chin and try and pander to Ronaldo and get him back in the team now. I'm sure he doesn't want to see him ever again. So those two are probably at the point of beyond repair now. So, and for the rest of the teammates, you can't have an influencer in the team. And let's face it, Ronaldo is a huge influence. You can't have something like that undermining what the manager's going to do, because then it's just going to have a knock-on effect with the team. And all of a sudden you've got factions. All of a sudden you've got the team disjointed and split into different sort of little groups because everybody's not on the same page. Everybody's thinking a different way. And it's just not healthy at all. Plus, the way we actually been playing with Cristiano Ronaldo this season is, let's face it, gash. We look a better outfit without him in the team. So it's not that Ronaldo's not an amazing player, but I think you do have to play a certain way to him. You've got to play all through Ronaldo to Ronaldo, obviously. And that's great if you want to play that way. And you can be effective playing that way. But if Ten Hag wants to play with a more sort of, I don't know, team pressing way, or, you know, with just a bit higher up, maybe he needs his forwards pressing higher up and he needs more mobility. He needs more legs. So he doesn't seem to utilize Ronaldo like, I don't know, maybe somebody else would, who's looking to use him on the last man all the time and just feed him non-stop with the balls, and has been playing slightly more counterish game like we did last season under Ollie and you know, that kind of thing. But in regards to what he's doing now this season, he's not really been effective. So I'm not saying that he's a bad player. He talked about his personal problems in this tonight as well. And that's one thing I want to say, is that he's only human. Okay, let's get some love hearts in there for Ronaldo. I think fundamentally he's a very good guy, obviously. He's got a great heart. Nobody's perfect. And he's obviously, I don't think he's been very clever with what he's come out with and said about Ten Hag and all this stuff. But the first half of the interview tonight, there's nothing that damning about it. There's nothing that me as a fan makes me think, oh, he shouldn't shouldn't be necessarily talking about that stuff. It's the stuff tomorrow, I think, that's going to come. But he's talked about his personal struggles with him and his wife. Obviously, they did lose a child, and he had another child, which obviously survived. And it must be a very difficult time. That's only a few months ago that happened. So that's only a few months ago. They've obviously had to adjust. They've had a grieving process. They've had to move on with their lives. And Ronaldo was still playing football at the time for Manchester United, and he turned up and played his football while that was all going on. So, you've got to just understand that he's probably also had a bit of a tumultuous year mentally. Look, everybody's got problems in their lives, but certainly that's a bad one. I don't think anybody's really, look, I don't have any kids, but I couldn't imagine losing a child, what that must be like. So I think we've got to understand that he's also probably not of 100%, happiness right now, or not necessarily right now, but certainly over the last 3 or 4 months in general. It's going to be a tough mental space for Ronaldo. So does that translate onto difficult performances and difficult times on the pitch? Probably does to a degree, yeah. It's disconnected, it's football, it's not, you get on the pitch, you put that behind you, but still, it's just not the perfect scenario for a person to be in to focus and 100% do their work to the best of their abilities. So maybe there's some element of that to it as well. Let's be honest. So let's just cut him a little bit of slack there and just say that he's not finished, is he? Just because he's had a bad season at Man United. Look, I strongly believe if he went to another top club around Europe and they played to his strengths, which is what you have to do, I think, then he will score a shitload of goals still. He's still an absolute beast, an absolute machine. He's probably going to tear it up for Portugal in the World Cup. He probably will, even if there is a bit of a frosty reception from people like Bruno and stuff like that. But he's still probably going to tear it up for them because he is ultimately an absolute clutch beast and a great player. But his headspace was not right playing for Man United this season. I just don't think he wanted to be here because of the fact we have Europa League football. Ultimately, that's already a big mental issue for him. He sees Lionel chipping away at the goals, and he wants to be trying to challenge for those accolades, but also, have a chance of winning some things. I get it. We talked about previously at the start of when this all started, when Ronaldo wanted to leave, when it came out, his agent was talking to other clubs in the summer. I understand why that is. I understand why, because he's just an elite player who needs the very best of the best of the best. So initially, he started off on this season on the wrong foot because he's not playing in the best competition. So from a mental standpoint, he's already checked out to some degree because it's just, you've got to be pushed. You've got to have that pressure. You've got to have that excitement, especially at his age with what he's done in his career, to be fully invested in what's going on. You shouldn't have to, but I think somebody like that with that elite mentality, it's like Lewis Hamilton popping down the old fairground and have a game of dodgems with the kids. It's like, is he really going to be treating that the same way as playing as racing in the Formula One? It's like the standards, and the Europa League is definitely not something that Cristiano wants to be involved in. So that's already a big stumbling block, I think, at the start of the season. Either way, he should be professional, get his head down and carry on. But then there's been a bit of a conflict with Ten Hag, and Ten Hag has wanted to do things a certain way. He's decided to play certain other players in certain games in his position and not play Ronaldo. So Ronaldo has been benchable this season, where he's always been completely indispensable before, where you needed him on the pitch. And this season, to Ten Hag, he's just another person in the team who's in rotation. And Ronaldo clearly is very much not happy with that. He's also not happy with the way the team is playing when he's on the pitch, because I'm not happy with that either. The team looks absolutely crap when Ronaldo's on for some reason. We look better when he's off the pitch in general. So there is something wrong with that. And I get the frustration from Cristiano Ronaldo's point of view because he's just so used to being a winner and being the numero uno guy. But it's just not the right fit anymore. It was the right fit. He was coming back to the dream club. He talked tonight of the chances of him going to City were very high before he joined Manchester United, and that City were in for him, and Pep wanted him, and they were essentially going to do the deal. But then Manchester United surprisingly came in for him with the money, and actually had tabled an offer, and had that interest, and he had a conversation with Sir Alex Ferguson, and Sir Alex Ferguson said it was impossible for him to join City, so he followed his heart to Manchester United. So he's already talked about the chances of going to City. Hey, thank you, Zay Miassi, for getting in here with a super chat. Zay Miassi, he says, Piggy, I sent a super chat before. Sorry, Zay Miassi. Okay, sorry, but I'm going to catch up now. I'm just I'm just waffling here a little bit, aren't I, mate? But let me get into the chat and see what you're saying. Sorry, guys, I don't mean to miss any comments here. Let's have a look what you say. And by the way, nobody needs to super chat in to read comments. I usually just read everybody's comments out. But I'm just talking a lot here. So you're going to have to wait until the Q&A at the end of the show properly. But if you want, so just chill. But let's go back and see what Zamiasi's all about here. And we've just smashed 100 likes on the stream. Thanks, everyone, for dropping the thumbs up. Please do keep hitting that like button if you haven't done so. And subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Right, Zane says, but on a more positive note, who's top of the league? When is Piggy doing an interview with players? Use your contacts, Piggy. Well, okay, fair enough. I mean, I've tried. I've tried to get a few people on. It'd be nice if Cristiano had contacted me instead. You know what I mean? Giving me the scoop instead of that Arsenal scum of shithouse Piers Morgan. You know what I'm saying? That would have been nice. But no chance of that. Anyway, thank you very much, Zamiasi, for for the super chats. Now, please be patient, Zamiasi, lad. It's not all about you, you know. It's not about you. Got a couple hundred legends watching this video. Certainly ain't about an Arsenal scummer in the chat, Mike's done. All right, just like it ain't all about Piers Morgan. We don't give a toss about Piers Morgan, Arsenal scummer, mate. We're interested in Ronaldo. You might be interested in that shithouse Piers, but we're not, bud. Do you understand? Because he's an Arsenal scummer. He's a smarmy bastard. Right then. So let's get back on track. Let's get back on track. So Cristiano Ronaldo is probably leaving, isn't he? Yeah, he's probably leaving, guys. I think it's come to that stage now where he's gone. So we'll see what comes out tomorrow. We're all hanging on tenterhooks as to what's going to come out tomorrow, but we more or less know most of the inflammatory comments that have come out, I think, in regards to Ten Hag, like this one here. I don't have respect for him because he doesn't show respect for me. So I think you've got to say, we know what's coming. There's going to be some disrespect towards Ten Hag, which in itself is the main reason for me why he's got to go. If he would become a martyr, a legend of this football club, even more so, if he'd have done this interview, preparing to be sacked off by the club, he would have been a legend of this club if he just not mentioned all the negative stuff about the current manager and that kind of thing. Because that is tough to get on board with, even if Ten Hag did disrespect him a little bit. It's like Ten Hag's the new coach and it's his way or the highway, in my opinion, and you've got to get your head down and be a pro and stick to it. You know, how many players have previous old school managers upset along the way? You know, it's not all a bed of roses. With professional football, you've got to take your lumps, you've got to move on, you've got to take the criticism just as all the rough with the smooth. So For that reason, I do think he should have just kept his trap shut in regards to Ten Hag, because that doesn't help the current team, that doesn't help his teammates, that doesn't help the season. So that's what I think is the big problem and the stumbling block here. But everything else, the Glazers shithouse chat, fantastic. Absolutely get in there. Very happy to see him discussing this, very happy to see him highlighting these issues on a global stage that people are going to take notice of. And we're going to see a reaction from the shithouse Glazers probably. We've already seen a reaction from the shithouse Glazers with them supposedly removing, this mural and stuff. So, there's definitely, the Glazers will not be happy. He said things like this: nothing changed at Man United, not only the jacuzzi, the pool, even the gym, even some points of technology, the kitchen, the chefs, who I appreciate, lovely people. I thought I would see different things, technology, infrastructure. So, you can't really fault him for what he said in regards to that. Troy Manson, man, thank you for the 20 Canadian dollar super chat there, you legend. Let's go. Thank you very much, Troy. Thank you, bro. Let's get a sue in the live chat. Actually, don't do that. Actually, let's get a poo in the live chat instead. Thank you, Troy Manson, you legend. He says, put Zayn in his place. Get him, pig. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, do I have to even put Zamias in his place? He said he's top of the league right now. They are top of the league right now. Look, I'm not going to say, Arsenal are doing crap right now, because they're top of the league. They're doing really well. For Arsenal, they're still bottom at some point. But what I would just say to Zamias is that you ain't won the league since 2004, bud. You've never won the Champions League, pal. Can we just, that's 2 sentences. That's all I need to say. Sit down. You're like Spurs, mate, to me. You know what I mean? You're like Spurs, but you're a laughing stock, Zane. Okay? Here he is again. Fucking hell. Zane, chill out, bud. He says, when I met Ronaldo in Portugal, he was very polite and chilled. I asked if he could sign for Arsenal, and he laughed. I bet he did laugh, to be honest with you, Zamias. I'd have laughed my tits off as I was in, bud. somebody proposing the prospect of playing for a fucking absolute non-Champions League winning team. You know, Jamie Ashley, that's not going to happen, is it? Jamie Ashley, I'd have laughed my head off too. But fair play to you, you know, fair play to you. He loves a bit of Cristiano, does this guy. Right, so yeah, so a couple of cool other things that he mentioned. He did say things like, yeah, Roy Keane and all these players that he used to play with, he used to just like soak up all the info and look at their training methods and the way they carried themselves and try and emulate all that sort of stuff. So he perhaps, you know, he just showed a little bit of, shone a little bit more light on the mentality of the guy, why he is such an elite player, because he was always constantly striving to learn and going through that struggle and trying to get better. And he feels like some of these younger players at Manchester United don't really feel that way. So I think that's a fair comment, actually, because I think a lot of these young players are just bottle jobs. Right, okay, I can see so many people wanting to get in the live chat here with all your comments and stuff, guys. We're going to get deep into the live chat now. Hey, Kate Cadet, what's going on? I agree with you. He says, Ronaldo was never in it from the start of the season. I agree with you. Once we had Europa League football, he's not interested in that, is he? It's just not for him. He's too elite for that, guys, and he's got too much of a competitive streak to be playing second fiddle competitions like that. And I understand that, to be fair. I do understand that. Thank you, Rush Barno. He says, subscribe to the channel. Right, we're going to get into the live chat, I guess. You know, going to get into the live chat for a little bit of a discussion here. So please do get your thoughts and opinions in there now in the comment section and have your say. Drop a little thumbs up on it if you haven't done so. And also subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel and get in the chat. Oh, really, Red Devils Gaming? Oh, Rushmano. What are you doing sending me that guff for? Anyway, no, that's cool. Well, interesting. Well, there you go. I mean, I thought it is a bit reactionary, but there was a video going around which I saw. Griffo Chan says, wish Fellaini did an interview like this. Could you imagine? Yeah, but the problem with Fellaini's interview is only about 12 people would care. To be fair, that's the only problem. Where do you see Ronaldo going next, says Ned? To be honest with you, Ned, I don't really think that any of the elite European clubs are going to want him. Because, well, look what he's done at Manchester United. There's a lot of drama surrounding Cristiano. He needs to go somewhere where he's still numero uno, and he's still going to be like, you know, have all of the, he's going to have all of the, you know, like the comfort there. The comfort. He's going to be playing. He's not going to have frictions. He's going to be the number one guy still. So for that, I think probably, yes, Sporting Lisbon is a good fit for him. But it's still, in my opinion, quite an unambitious one. Man United's a much bigger club, obviously. It's just that the comfort level there is much bigger for a player of Cristiano Ronaldo than the comfort level here. It's a very uncomfortable season for Cristiano right now. The comfort levels of playing for Sporting much better. Provides him what he needs, maybe, you know, next season with the Champions League football. You know, I could see him going to just any Champions League team other than English teams. I don't think he'll go to an English team. Plus, it does, like, his next club depends massively on what happens with Manchester United now. So if Manchester United just go, hey, you know what, you're a contracted Manchester United player, rot in the reserves, son, to the end of the year or the end of the contract, the summer, well, he can't really go and play for anybody else, can he? But that means Man United are paying out £2 million a month for Cristiano Ronaldo to do nothing. Now, you can take that stance, or you can, you know, or you can release him from his contract or mutually agree a termination, or perhaps based on the behavior, or not necessarily behavior, but what he's come out and said in the press and the media recently with this interview with Piers Morgan, there's obviously lots of clauses and stipulations within footballers' contracts where if you come out and bring the club into disrepute and things like that, then you can actually have your contract terminated on the spot with no compensation. Things like that exist. So depending on legalities and what approach Manchester United can take with Ronaldo after the dust has settled on this one, depends on where he's going to go as well. Because if he's just mutually terminated, or if Man United free transfer him or whatever, then there's every possibility he could sign for, I guess, one more of the toppish sort of clubs, like maybe a Bayern Munich or something like that, just because if he was free and he was prepared to take a big cut, maybe something like that would take him on. And also, that's a lot less likely to happen if there's, you know, offers from various clubs that he maybe has a history with as well. I very much doubt that teams like Real Madrid will go in for him, but I'm just saying, it is Ronaldo we're talking about here. Zamiasi, thank you for getting in with your super chat again. He says, Pig, what's more likely? Trump winning, Arsenal whining, Glazers leaving, or England winning the World Cup? Definitely Arsenal whining, Zane. You've left an N out at the very most specific, awesomest possible time you could have done, mate. Arsenal whining's definitely the most likely out of that, bud. You've had a mare there, son. You've had a mare there, lad. Arsenal whining. Anyway. Right. So, okay, guys, so let's get into the chat here, you legends. Must play, what's going on, says Pig, there's a tendency among modern fans to support individual players rather than teams. Maybe we can finally move on from that at United, says Must Play. Is there really? I mean, I know that, but I've heard of that people like Ronaldo, and if he went and played for fucking Kettering Town, they'd sort of a sudden become a Kettering Town fan. I've heard of that, but I haven't really experienced much of that in my life, to be fair, but I guess it must happen. It must happen. Dante, what's going on, you legend? He says, when Ronaldo came back, he saw Shaw eating a Frey Bentos, and then Shaw told him, allow it, fam. That's what I mean. So some of the youngsters not following his example is because he's drinking water and just having salmon and chicken breast and broccoli and shit like that. Luke Shaw's over there having the old Burger King. Slabo Maguire's having punch-ups with Mykonos police and stuff on the old lagers. Like it's maybe that's what he's saying. It's just like the standards there, and these people are should be trying to emulate him. So he likes to lead by example. And they should be trying to emulate him, but instead they're tucking in the KFC buckets, lad. So I can understand his frustrations. I can understand his frustrations. Go join Nani in Australia. Plenty of snakes over there, says Chloe Jenkins. Love it, love it. Yeah, I wonder where he's going to end up. I can't see him go into one of those sort of leagues like MLS or something, though. I think he's going to stay in one of the top European leagues. Wouldn't it just be funny, though, if at the end of all of this, there's no real suitors for him, and everybody's just like, nah. What did I think of the interview? You're going to have to watch this video again, Gary Finnegan, mate. I've been talking about that for the last 48 minutes, pal. It's a bit hard to put that into one little concise... I thought it was shite, mate. No. But you're going to have to watch this video back, bud. But one thing I did think was funny when he said it's like they think they found the last Coca-Cola in the desert. I was thinking, hang on a sec, mate. Don't you mean bottle of water in the desert? Coca-Cola were like going cha-ching. Yes, mate. Finally, a bit of a positive boost from Ronaldo. He's saying it's a good thing to find a Coca-Cola in a desert. I'm surprised he didn't say bottle of water, eh? Anyway, Rushmano, thank you very much for the £10 super chat there, you legend. Let's go. Let's get a No, actually, don't do that. Sorry. Keep saying that, don't I? It's a force of habit. Let's get some red panties in there instead. Break out the red panties for Rushmano. He sent us a tenner there. Thank you so much, Rushy. He says, Pig, every time Zane mentions arson holders, he should give you £50. He's the master of diversion tactics. I guess he has to be, though, the master of diversion tactics, because otherwise the focus all becomes on how actually Arsenal haven't won anything for a very, very long time. Thank you for all the poo emojis there as well. Gungshi and Chabunk as well, getting those poos in there. Force of old habits, exactly there, Mickey. Yeah. By the way, thank you again, Gungshi, for gifting out 5 new members. That is absolutely awesome. The interview is pretty boring. You'd rather watch Pig Rants and Slabby, says Tim. Well, I think the juicy stuff's coming tomorrow. So just based on the first part of the interview, there wasn't all that much was said. I guess the juiciest stuff was, in regards to people like Wayne Rooney and Gary Neville and that sort of stuff. Some of the gossipy type stuff was the juiciest. And what he said on Ralph Rangnick, of course. And the youngsters in the club not caring, I guess, is pretty juicy as well. But yeah, it was quite tame, I suppose. We've seen clips, we've seen excerpts from what's coming tomorrow, though. And there's definitely a lot more emphasis on the club, Ten Hag, pre-season. I think that's when he's going to be talking about the club disrespecting him. That's going to be when he's talking about the club not believing him. When he said that his daughter was in hospital with bronchitis for a week and all this sort of stuff that's come out. That does not sound good, does it? I mean, look, I know Man United is a club with a heart. Even though the Glazers have no heart, Man United as a club club with a heart. We don't know who in the hierarchy is making it seem like Ronaldo is not to be, let's not believe Ronaldo. I mean, I can't imagine anybody would not believe Ronaldo that his daughter is ill once let's face it, his son just passed away previously. I don't think anybody's going to question that one. Oh, really? Oh, really, Cristiano? Really? Baby's in hospital? Oh, really? So I don't really understand. I think it's a miscommunication that's happened there. I can't imagine anybody's really been that cold towards Ronaldo at the upper, in the upper part of the club. But I don't know. Let's see what Ronaldo says tomorrow. But I think it's probably down to miscommunication more so than anything. I don't know. Okay, D-Money says CR7 did more for United than Eric Ten Hag ever will. Can't deny Cristiano Ronaldo is a legend of this football club. He may leave with a tarnished reputation at the end of this, depending on also what more comes out and what happens now. But nobody can deny his previous qualities for Man United. When Fergie was here and he came in and his hunger and desire to be the best shone through, and he literally won the Ballon d'Or while he was at Manchester United. So that's the sort of player that he was. So yeah, he's a legend of the club. But right now, is what he's doing is what he is doing. Is it actually helping the football club, or is it hindering it? So in some ways, long term, it could help to highlight the issues of the owners and that kind of stuff. But for right now, for the season, for the players, for the team, for the manager, it's not helping at all, is it? It's not helping at all. So he's tarnished himself, mate, at the end here. Alex Corr says he said Ten Hag was the first manager to punish him. Well, look, Ten Hag should be punishing him for walking off early, and acting so petulant the way he is. He should be getting punished. In all fairness, you cannot be doing that and acting so unprofessional. So he has thrown his toys at the pram. I do think it's been a bad, tough personal year for Cristiano Ronaldo in some ways. But you've got to be professional, and he did let his teammates down. The Bristolian Mackin comments, Glazers hate CR7 because he's a threat to them. Now we know the club's definitely not worth the price tag the Glazers put on it. Yeah, well, this is very interesting, actually. So Cristiano Ronaldo has actually, that's a really good point you make. We know how these things, it's a publicly traded company. I mean, I haven't looked at stock prices and things like that recently. I know the whole market shut the bed in general, but I'm guessing like it's going to have a knock-on effect, isn't it? It's got to go down. This is not good for the value of the football club. So from the Glazers' point of view, yeah, that's it. They just need to sell up, man. Wouldn't it be amazing if this is one of the catalysts though that makes them sell the football club? Because we know what an influence Ronaldo has. It's like he mentions during the Euros or whatever, oh no, don't drink Coca-Cola, drink water. And Coca-Cola loses $100 million overnight or something in terms of stock value. Like that's, and everyone's buying shares in Evian. That's the influence that somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo can have. So I think, hey, look, it could have some sort of a knock-on effect to the point where maybe, well, I doubt it. I think those shithouses are here for the long run, unfortunately. I'd love to see somebody else come in and buy the club, but honestly, just don't think it really, will be the case at all. Nothing to do with the latest going on, but what was Ronaldo actually a legend of the club or just one of the many greats? Thank you, Berber, for getting in here with your comment, by the way, lad. How are you doing? So was he a legend or a great? Good question. I would say he's a legend because, well, we were successful with Ronaldo in the club. He was the best player in that team of a very good generation. So I do think he's a legend in the club personally. But it's a good argument you make. He left us, right, for shithouse Real Madrid at the peak of his powers. So that's going to tarnish him for some people because how can he be a true legend of the club when you're not even committed to the club? And he's not committed for a second time now. But back then he wasn't committed to the club. He's trying to get out of here pretty soon to go and play for his boyhood dream club, Real. Which in some ways, fair enough, but he's not as big as a legend as Wayne Rooney, if you ask me. Wayne Rooney's a bigger legend of this football club. All-time leading goal scorer, all the games and years that he gave us. Somebody like that, or Scholesy or Giggs, obviously, they're even bigger. So, look, there's obviously levels to this legendary status, but I do think he's a legend, yeah. yeah. There you go. Griffo says he won the Ballon d'Or at United. Legend, period. Yeah, I have to agree. Ned Gold says legend. Stefan says great. Momo says a legend for me. Coke lost 4 billion, says Dutch Christ. Nice one, Griffo Chaz, lad. Rory C, thank you very much for getting in with your €5 super chat, Rory C. He says, thank you, Rory. Let's get some hell yeahs in the live chat for him. He says, at least we have to sign an attacker in January, unless there is nothing so bad tomorrow to sack him and they won't mutually terminate. How does it end? So, Oh, you sent me United share price. Thank you very much there, Rushman. Let's take a look at that in a second. But yeah, Rory. So I personally think, right, that hang on a sec. We will sign an attacker in January. We have to, because we've got to replace Ronaldo now. We've seen that we're lacking in that area anyway, even with Ronaldo here. So we've got to sign a striker. I think it comes. Plus, if Ronaldo's gone, a mutual termination saves us £2 million a month, remember. I don't know if they will mutually terminate, but if they did do that, then it saves us a lot of money. So, and look at all the negativity shrouding us right now. What else are you going to do? I don't think anybody's coming to buy him off of us, even for a nominal amount of money right now, when he can be available for nothing pretty much soon. So nobody's buying him off us in Jan. I just don't see that happening. So I think we're going to have to let him go for nothing. That's honestly how it seems to be the case. Let's have a look at this, by the way. Manchester United share price as of today is down 1.78%, which is down significantly over the course of the last however long. So it's definitely having an effect. Thank you, Rush Bonner, for telling me that. It's definitely having an effect, guys. This sort of highlighted, and when we're talking about 1.2%, that doesn't sound like a lot, does it? Or 1.78%, but 2% of the overall, value of the club is essentially down. That's a significant drop. It amounts to millions. So, that's significant. And I think if you look at what could come out tomorrow in regards to the interview with the Glazers out stuff, which seems to be is going to be quite heavy on that as well, it could have even more of a knock-on effect. So I think those are all positive things that have come out of this. I don't want to see Manchester United's value drop, but if it's something that might convince the Glazers shithouses, oh crap, we need to get rid and try and sell as soon as possible, then that would be fantastic. I would love it. I mean, everybody knows that the Glazers are awful owners. Everybody around the world now knows, and if they didn't know, now they will. Soon they will, with Cristiano Ronaldo talking about it, the most famous person on the planet. This is great. The fact that he's talking about the Glazers out on such a global stage. So everybody's going to know about this, guys. Tomorrow, there will be a knock-on effect. So let's just hope that it's just a domino that will maybe knock over a few more dominoes that leads to one day the Glazer shithouses selling this football club. That's all I can really hope from this. And if Ronaldo does that and puts himself in the firing line in this way, but that's what happens, then he would be a legend, wouldn't he? Like I said, he would be a legend for doing this interview anyway. He would be an absolute legend if he's done this interview but just didn't slag anybody off from like the management or these players necessarily that he's talked about. Then he would have been absolutely spot on. Imagine if he'd just done a Glazers out tell all. Like, they're just crap, the facilities are awful, I'm disgusted with how things were when I got here. Some of the appointments, things, like Rangnick, even if he'd have said that, that's fine, because it's highlighting some of the mismanagement going on at the top. That would have made him an absolute even bigger legend. But unfortunately, when there's words like that that's at the bottom of the screen, it's tough to get on board with that when you're trying to get in the same direction as a team. Right, hang on. What's going on here? Wait a second. Let's go on here. So, Zayn Miassi sent another super chat in. Thank you, Zayn. He says, Piggy, Arsenal are getting Ivan Toney in January. Don't try and nick him from us. We get him, we definitely win the league. Interesting, but I mean, we need him more, to be fair. We need him more. So I don't really see that happen. To be honest with you, Messi, we need him more, but I think we could convince him. And now, even if you did get something like that, or Tony went elsewhere, we just need some good players up there. We don't necessarily need Tony. Tony looks very good. I'd definitely be interested in taking Tony at the club. I think he'd be brilliant. But I'd also be interested in a few other players as well. So there's definitely striking options for Manchester United to go and get in January. So I'm not too worried. We just need to get somebody good, mate. Just somebody very good to potentially replace that Ronaldo melt. I know. Yeah, Sub2 says, somebody clip it. Zane said, definitely win the league. Rory C, thanks for the super chat. He says, Zane, you dolt. He'll be banned for the foreseeable. Rory C, thanks for getting in here, bud. You what, Rory? Anyway, thank you so much for getting in here, Rory. I appreciate you, my friend. The clips are basically the whole interview. Well, Zeddy, there was some, it was a 45-minute or near enough sort of a, interview. There's some guff in the middle. There was a lot that came out, that was extra in regards to things like his family and that kind of stuff, and the youngsters at the club. So no, I think what you're probably saying is right though. The headlines, the worst parts are probably, it's not probably going to get much worse than that. I don't think it's going to get any worse than those headlines for tomorrow. So you're probably right in that sense. Imagine this leads to the Glazers selling biggest self-sacrifice since Jesus. No, definitely, Dante, you're right. He would be a complete martyr. If it leads to them selling, then he's an absolute fucking legend, isn't he, Cristiano? Wouldn't it be so funny if then, they just call a press conference after the new owners have come in, and Ronaldo just walks back in with the new owners and Ten Hag, and they just do like a muscle embrace in front of the camera, like Arnie Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers in Predator. You know what I'm saying? And they just get their muscles on and just give a good old handshake. They're like, yes, we've got those Glazer shithouses out. Now the real work begins. But that's not going to happen, obviously. Okay. Major dub for Dallo. You're right, Griffo Chaz. Yeah, very positive discussions from Ronaldo there. But is it because he's Portuguese? Now, he did also praise Martinez as well, though. You're absolutely right. So, that's a couple of good things. If you look at Dallo's commitment this season, somebody that just last season he wasn't really looking all that too hot, and now all of a sudden he's looking like one of the best right backs in the league and being super consistent. So I think there's something to be said for his personality there, for his determination, for his constant efforts to improve himself, just like somebody like Ronaldo had when he was that age. That's what you've got to have to reach the best level. So Dallo could have that. It's not about how you start, and it's not even necessarily how about the journey, but it's about the destination, my friends. Actually, that's not true, is it? Because a lot of people say it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But I reckon that's bollocks. Because if you end up at an absolute shithouse, then, if you end up in, if you end up in, I don't know, like Croc-Steff, Liverpool or something, at the end of your destination, you could be like, well, the journey was nice. We went through all these lovely towns and cities and all these places, and we end up in an absolute smeg hole. You know what I mean? The destination's important, my friends. So definitely, like the progress of these players is important. It's about improving, constant self-improvement. Not about getting to a certain point and then never improving again. Dallo was not great over the last couple of seasons, but he's worked and definitely improved. He's improved physically. He's improved intelligence-wise, positionally, everything. So you've got to say that these people are, these people are important to highlight and say they're positive. Lissandro Martinez strikes me as somebody who works so hard. So I think he's got a point there. Zane, thanks for your super chat. He says, what happens if Ronaldo heads a consortium to buy United and becomes chief executive? Well, then he's a bloody legend, isn't he then, Zane Miassi? That's all that we really want. I don't think anybody's actually doubting Ronaldo's love for the football club. Maybe we're doubting his commitment to us right now because his professional career, as a pro seems seemingly more important to him, and he's more selfish in that sense. But he has got a finite amount of time left. But I think he does love United. I think he wants what's best for United at the very least. Even if he leaves Man United now, which he is doing, it looks like, then I think he still would like to see Man United do well and get new owners. So I personally think he wants to see us do well, and he's just really disheartened with the ownership, the leadership, the hierarchy, and clearly the current management of the football club as well. He's disheartened with it. So, but I think he wants what's best for the club. Zane, thanks for your super chat, mate. Now put a sock in it, mate. He's better than Fred. Why don't you put a sock in it like a Champions League runner-up sock or something in it? But I don't know. Ronaldo can't afford Manchester United, says MUFC. Okay, fair enough, but he said a consortium. He did say a consortium, so a consortium means it would be Ronaldo and a few other absolute super rich dons. 10 billion the Glazers want for the club. That's crazy, isn't it, Top G? Yeah, it's a £5 billion club at most, I think, right now. Everything behind the scenes, look at what Ronaldo said as well. I mean, it's not like we've got state-of-the-art stuff going throughout the whole club. The brand is massive. The following's massive. The world global support is massive. Hundreds of millions of supporters is massive. But still, though, they're asking for way too much money if they want 10 mil for it. Rajat says 4.5 max. Guys, how much do you think Man United's worth in terms of £billion? I think 5 billion is the max. Mark Aitchison says, as a Liverpool fan, this is utterly hilarious. He should have gone to City. He probably should have gone to City in the terms of if he wanted to be, to individual accolades and awards, which I think he does. City would have got him that. He would have scored a lot more goals at City. He would have won things at City. But he followed his heart. And he said that himself. Why would he go to a fake bullshit shithouse gash club like City when he can go back to Manchester United? I mean, obviously he followed his heart. One of them might be a team that's, you know, just shut up. You saying around 5 billion, says Top G. I'm thinking about 5 billion too. Jonathan Gallagher says 2 bill. Stokes Savage says 6 bill. Chris Q says 4. 5, maybe 6. There's kerfuffles. I say it around 5 billion, says Top G. Yeah, so, you know, surely if somebody come and stuck £5 billion on the table for them, they are going to accept that deal. You know, surely they're not going to walk away from that. But they're saying they want 10 mil, but I'm pretty sure you could buy it for less. Jarvis says you can triple the stock market value, approximately 8 billion, says Jarvis Cocker. Interesting. I mean, there's a lot of potential at the club, like you say. It's a sleeping giant in that sense. If there was people who invest heavily in it overnight, it could do amazing things in a very short time. UFC went for 4 billion. United would easily be 6 or above, says Stoic Savage. Maybe, but the UFC is essentially, you know, it's like, okay, it is a franchise within a sport. But that would be more like comparing that to like the Premier League, if you ask me. The UFC is like the Premier League or La Liga or something, whereas this is just a team within a league. So I don't know if that's the case. I think you have to look at what the American sports franchises go for, like the American football teams. And I don't actually know how much they go for, but I know some of them going for a few billion, but I don't know what the most expensive or the average price of those American football teams is in recent years. But it's billions, few billion. Ben, thank you for the £5 super chat, my son. Appreciate you, bud. Thank you very much for getting in here with your super chat, lad. He says he's a rat who can't accept he's been playing bloody poorly. How is he setting an example with his recent antics? Very well said, actually, Ben. It's not really a good example to set by, you know, leaving early or, you know, speaking out in the press about the current manager and stuff, is it? So I know what you're saying, Ben. He's definitely I think that's what it comes down to. He can't accept the current situation. He can't accept that he's not the main guy. He can't accept he doesn't have Champions League football. And he can't accept he's not playing well and the team's not playing well to his strengths. And the manager's not playing to his strengths. And he doesn't get any preferential treatment. That's what I think it comes down to. I'm with you, Ben. I think ultimately he just wants to move away. And this is the easiest, dirtiest way that he can get a move away, is by making it so they have to get rid and maybe even terminate a contract so we can then go and sign for anybody for any terms that's immediately. So I think you're right. I think ultimately it is a bit of a filthy concept, a bit of a dirty tactics that Cristiano Ronaldo has taken with this one. I like what he said in certain areas of it, as we've mentioned, but I think ultimately this is all just a design to get him a move away, isn't it? Zamiasi getting in here again with another super chat. He says 6 to 7 as Chelsea was sold for 4. Spurs' worth is only their stadium. Fair enough, Zamiasi. So I like what you said there, at least valuing us almost double what those Chelsea scummers are. I respect that. I wouldn't say that, though. I think that's high. How could they? I mean, 7 billion. I don't think so. I think we it's not like we've got. There's still a lot of investment needs in the club, so we're going to need hundreds of millions, if not billion, spent in investments in this football club to get us to where we need to be. So we might be. It's like buying an old Rolls-Royce Phantom or something. It's like it's a beautiful car, but there's going to have a lot of problems with it that needs addressing, and they're going to be expensive to fix and to get it up to showroom standard, which is where it needs to be. Then it's going to be tough, mate. It's going to be tough. So I don't know. I think there's still a lot of areas lacking at United, which devalues the football club. If there was so much, fantastic training facilities and fantastic infrastructure and just everything, the stadium needs an update. You know, all of just everything from down to kitchens and fucking changing rooms and facilities, training facilities and equipment and everything. It all needs, and then players, and we need massive investment. So because of their lack of investment, there needs to be a lot of money spent on this club for whoever's coming in. So I think they can't ask for a huge amount. Again, Forbes claims around 6, says Mickey Lund. Fair play. Is that dollars, though? Is that $1 billion, though? Jarvis says, correction, stock market value is 2.11 billion US dollars. Triple that is 6.3 billion dollars. Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, somewhere around about 5 million quid, $6 million. Although the pound's absolutely fucked at the moment, isn't it? So, don't even know how much that equates to right now. But yeah. Chris Goose says exactly if they have a survey like on a house, it's going to be closer to 2 bill. Cracks in the foundation, fucking subsidence, leaky pipes, a lot, mate. Absolutely, they don't want a survey done, do they? Maybe Slabby can buy out the Glazers, says Captain Whoopass. Rush Marno, thank you very much for the comment here. He says 5 billion for the club. 1 billion for team investment, 1 billion for improvements, 1 billion to pay off debt. And there you go. We're still at least $500 million. Yeah, loads of money in debt as well. So Rushman is absolutely right there. There comes with debt costs that you have to absorb, and investment, team investment, and club investment. So Rushman is absolutely right. For that reason, you can't ask for 6 or 7 billion because it needs a couple of billion spent on it, lads. Tony in January would be lovely, merchant. Thomas Wall says, haven't won anything for a decade. Ruin every player who comes through the door, managers and players. Nah, well, I mean, there's an argument to it because of the gash owners, and a lot of the players who have come in have sort of dropped off in recent years. You can't really deny that. I can't agree with what you're saying. But there's also players that have been, developing and been doing well as well. So whether it's like, I don't know, if you look at what Martinez has done since he's come in, and you can do it, United. You can do it. It's not everybody turns to shit when they come in, but we'll see. I suppose he's not even been here that long. He might get the disease. Because, I mean, you can't deny a lot of players come here over the last few years, from right down to Alexis Sanchez or whoever it is. And they just come here and they just don't do it like they used to. Rory C, thank you for getting in here. He says, irrelevant unless those wankers are willing to sell. There you go, Rory. Yep, very true. Very true. Piggy to replace Ronaldo, let's go, says Kate Cadet. Zane has leaky pipes, says Orlando Orlano. Oh my God. By the way, there's still 250 legends in here. We're on 162 likes. Can we smash 200? Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so and help us get to 200 likes. That'd be much appreciated. Right, I'm going to read a few more comments out then, guys. So please get your thoughts and opinions in. We're going to stick around for a little bit longer, see what you legends are saying. Really? Ivan Toney charged over 232 alleged breaches of betting rules. You what? 232? Fucking hell. Piggy could be the new Akinfenwa, says Cadet. Why would any great player want to come to United now, knowing about the facilities, etc., says CD? Precisely, that's it. It's going to have a knock-on effect. It will devalue this club. Warzone 2.0 stream later, says Aidan Feeney. Actually, there's not going to be, mate, because I've got a pack and stuff. I'm going to Spain in the morning, guys. So I'm going to Spain for a few days. I'm back on Sunday. So before the England games and everything, that's on Monday. I'm going to miss the Qatar game, though. But who really gives a shit about that? To be honest. No disrespect, but I'm missing the opener of the World Cup. Paella, indeed. So, oh, look at that. You've actually got a paella emoji, my son. Awesome. Thank you, Orlando. Definitely going to have some paella, lad, and just have a nice little few days break. So I am going on holiday for a couple of days, so I will not be on tonight, sadly. And there's also doubts of evening gaming streams. But like tomorrow, I'm definitely going to jump on from Spain and talk about the fallout, the rest of the Ronaldo, rest of the Ronaldo interview and all that sort of stuff. So I will be back online tomorrow night, don't worry. Going to Andalusia, I'm not actually going. So I'm actually going to the Canary Islands, which is not part of mainland Spain, but it is part of Spain. So Spain video tomorrow after part 2, says Griffo. Yes, indeed, sir. Absolutely, Griffo. Well said. That's going to happen. Rushmano, thank you, buddy. Says, enjoy your holes, pig. Thank you so much there, Rushmano, you legend. The Qatar's game, one of the highlights, says Kick-It. Qatar, says Farabi. It's not going to happen yet. Yeah. Well, there you go, Sim as well. Pig, honestly, top players should avoid us. Won't win any trophies anytime soon, says Jonathan Gallagher. Ever the optimist, aren't you, Jonathan? Yeah, well, we probably won't for a little bit, mate. We're a long way off the top teams at the moment, sadly. That's the reality, especially with these shithouse owners. Bristolian Mackham says, told you Tony was a cheat. He got Luke O'Neill set it off, faking he look him, and it was actually Tony elbow in his chest. Wow. Griffo Chad says, Mrs. P's coming with me. Yep, Mrs. P's going with me, my friend. So it's the first holiday we're ever going on. abroad anyway. We've gone away for like a weekend to Thorpe Park before, but other than that, we thank you, Must Places. Pig, you deserve it. At least you don't have to do Ronaldo news for a couple of days, because I imagine it will create some drama again. Yeah, well, there you go. Well, I'll be back on tomorrow night to, well, more than likely to discuss the Ronaldo stuff. But after that, I'm probably, just gonna not talk about him. Gakpo's a great shout, K Cadet. Are we getting, well, we don't know yet, but Gakpo is a realistic shout, definitely. Qatar formation 9-1. Technically, it's not a holiday if you tell people where you go, and that's what it says in Mission Impossible film. Okay, well, true. Okay, well, actually, I've got a little, I'm actually just keeping it secret. I'm going to somewhere else, but I'm just telling you, Spain. I'm joking. I'm actually going to Spain. Anyway. Thank you very much for tuning in, though, guys. I mean, let's read a couple more out, guys, because let's read a couple more out. You have to say Manchester United isn't red right now, says Jonathan Gallagher. Are you fucking Jonathan? Shut up, Jonathan Gallagher. I thought you were hang on, has somebody hacked Jonathan Gallagher's account, mate? I'm removing your comment, Jonathan Gallagher, mate. Don't ever say anything like that in it ever again. You're a moderator of this channel. You're representing this channel. Don't say anything like that ever again, my son. You'll be sacked off, Jonathan Gallagher, my son. That's the worst thing everybody's ever written in this chat, bud, what you just said there. We've had people say all sorts of personal stuff about family members and all sorts of stuff to me, but you saying that is the worst thing I've ever seen anybody write in the chat. Do you understand, Jonathan? This is what he said. He said, right now, Pig, you have to say Manchester United isn't red right now. You fucking what, Jonathan Gallagher? You what, pal? No, it is red. It's tinged maybe with a slight fucking gastastic, horrible purple colour in the corner, just. But it's still fucking red, mate, trust me. Look, they haven't even won a Champions League trophy, Jonathan Gallagher. You mental. Okay, they might have won 4 out of the last 5 Prems. We still hold the number, the magic number in terms of Division 1 titles as well, but also Premier League titles. The overall most winningest team in English football. Also, 3 Champions League trophies. They haven't got fucking 1, bud. So, please don't put anything as heinous in the live chat ever again as that, my friend. Manchester's definitely red. Listen, Man City would have to go on the sort of winning run that they're on at the moment for the next 10 years. And win a Champions League or 2 in that time to even match what Manchester United have done, bud. So let's just not pretend and discredit what Man United as a club have done in the past. Okay, it is the past. Okay, it is too long ago. But yeah, but still though, that doesn't... History's important, mate, and it's still recent history. You know, calm down. Let's get some red emojis in the live chat. Bannable offence, that says Gungshi. Absolutely. Unbelievable what you said there, Jonathan Gallagher, lad. Unbelievable. I'm disgusted. Anyway, so let's get some red emojis in the live chat, everybody. Please get some red emojis in there. Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's get a Manchester as red in there. They never won the Champions League, mate. We got all those Premier League titles, more than them as well. It's crazy. Barbara Faye, thank you for the red lips emojis, and Chris Koo and MUFC and Must Play and everyone. Orlando. It's definitely red, mate. It's definitely red. Jonathan Gallagher making me question everything. Right, okay. Listen, guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to have to wrap this video up now. It's 11:15. I'm not on FIFA tonight, Tom Teasy. I'm going to be back on Sunday night, definitely. Definitely back on Sunday night, mate. I'm having a little bit of a break from it. I know. It's gash, isn't it? Don't forget about us. We will be back to the FIFA streams late night next week. But right now, it's not going to happen for a couple of days, guys. Sorry about that. But, you know, stick around. We'll still have United content coming. And I might do something crazy like take my laptop and do, I don't know, a Football Manager stream or something. But probably not. I'm probably just going to enjoy a couple of days away and get back at it hard to work when I get back. Nice one. But thank you, Jonathan's the Ronaldo of Flying Pig United channel, says Stefan. Oh, I love it, Stefan. Get in there, MUFC says Red Devils for life. Yeah, we needed this interview. It's a fair point, Sufyan. Someone talking about what's going on. True. Maybe they'll change something. True. I mean, I do like the fact that it's highlighted the Glazer shithousery. So, good point. Thank you, Zamaram says, have a good holiday, Pig. Thank you so much, bud. Thank you, Tom Teasy, Mickey Lund, Illa United, Must Play. Thank you, Kingslayer. Cheers, Kerfuffles. Jonathan says, Pig, I don't enjoy saying it, but only thing we have to look at is the past, says Jonathan Gallagher. Past is important, Jonathan, mate. It's only in recent years. Let's face it, go back 13 years. Man City getting beaten 9-0 by Middlesbrough, for fuck's sake, mate. That means something too. Just because they've got some bullshit owners who've come in here and just broken financial fair play and spent billions. And, okay, they've spent their billions better than we've spent ours. But, they make no mistake. They're a tin pot club who've had a massively overinflated, status because of their bullshit owners. And their owners are lacking in in the history traditions that Manchester United isn't lacking in. We do have some good, their club, is lacking in the history traditions that our football club is. It's a tin pot new money club, which is gash if not for the money. If you take their owners out of Manchester City, their fan base, their support, they go back to being mid-table shite or championship fodder. Manchester United, you take our owners out of it, we flourish. That's the difference. You take that, that's the difference. We're a Goliath of a football club. In all honesty, we've just got bad owners. Thank you, K Cadet. Thank you, Jarvis. Thank you, Berber. Thank you very much, Jeff Madrak as well, and the Hoop Man. Thank you so much, lad. Rory C, Ilya, Alex Core, Madhouse, Chris Koo, and everyone as well. You reckon Pig is popping the big Q in Spain, says Griffo Chaz. Oh, really, Griffo Chaz? Interesting you should say that, because I am popping the big question. I'll pop it for you now right here, actually. Ready? Here's the big question. Is Griffo Chaz an absolute moron or not? That's the big question I'm popping right now for you, bud. Answer in the chat, guys. Yes or no, is Griffo Chaz a complete fucking moron or not? That's the question. Daft Scottish Devil, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. Thank you so much for the $8.99 super chat. He says, Pig, we should sack Ronaldo. We don't need players like him anywhere near the club. Ronaldo thinks he's bigger than the club, manager, fans, and players when he is not. Daft Scottish Devil, thank you so much for your comment, bud. Yes, love that. I think he's got to go as well. I think Man United will terminate him. He's going to be terminated. I think he's going to go. And, he does think he's bigger than us right now. I think that's fair. Do you know what? In some ways, nobody's bigger than his football club. But in terms of his reach and his brand, he's the most followed person. He's got way more followers than Manchester United. We don't care about followers, though. This is not a social media looking company. This is football. This is a sport. And nobody's bigger than Manchester United. But Ronaldo as a brand, as a product, as a person is cataclysmic. Let's be honest. So he has massive pull and massive say and massive influence. Even more the reason why he should be using that for more positive vibes rather than putting the boot into Ten Hag and stuff like that. So there you go. But yeah, I don't think we need him anymore, Daft Scottish Devil. I'm with you, bud. But he is he's a Goliath of an individual, isn't he? Chris Koo, thanks for the super chat there, my son. He says, Ronaldo, poo. Jonathan Gallagher, boo. That's a good one. That's a good one there, Chris Koo. I like it. Thank you so much for getting in here. Thank you, Gungshi. Says, have a great holiday. Thank you so much, you bloody legend, Gungshi. Sleeping Giant Pig, says the Hoop Man. Yeah, that's what it is. Who has retweeted tonight, says MUFC Brummy Reg. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Please do give us a retweet at the top of the live chat, guys. I'd appreciate that a lot. Zamaram, thank you for the £5 super chat. He says, have a beer on your holidays. I am going to actually, Zamaram, to be fair. I'm gonna sack off the diet for a couple of days. Yeah, I'm gonna come back 20 stone again, my son. Ronaldo hasn't put the boot into Ten Hag yet. Well, he has, Alex. Look at this quote right here, bud. Okay, so there was I don't have respect for him because he doesn't show respect for me. Is that not putting the boot in? I mean, I'd say it is. Oh, Ronnie Dodge, sorry I missed your super chat, bud. Thank you, Zamaran, for the beer for the holidays, man. I really appreciate the $5, by the way, Zamaran, man. I'm going to get myself a couple of cheeky San Miguel's with that, my son. Rory C, thanks for the super chat. You guys are just constantly super chatting, mate. I'm not going anywhere. I'm joking. Rory C. Ronnie Dodge, sorry. Ronnie Dodge, I missed yours, buddy. He says, Ronaldo slating young players. I feel for Anthony. Yeah, in some ways, I don't know if he really meant Anthony, but in some ways, because Anthony's only just come in, I think he meant more so like some of the younger players, maybe some of the English players, maybe some of the players like Rashford or Greenwood previously, or, players like that. I think that's what he meant anyway. But who knows? He did also make sure that he realized that people realized he wasn't talking about Dallo, wasn't talking about Martinez. So it's hard to say really who he means exactly. But I think he's probably got a point in that sense that these players get given too much too quickly. Hi there, Phone Monkey 187. How are you doing, bud? One of the channel member Dons. Hope you're doing good. Okay, I think am I caught up now? Oh shit, Rory C. Thanks for another super chat, lad. He says check out Sky Sports reporting that United are removing Ronaldo posters from Old Trafford, even though it's all being replaced by rugby league stuff. That Sky will show. Well, there you go. We reported that earlier, mate. Somebody said it's for the... I didn't know it's for the rugby earlier, but hang on. That's funny, isn't it? But I guess they've been fake newsed as well, have they? ESPN reported it. That's why we got it from, I think. So I've talked about it briefly earlier. This is it. Manchester United have begun taking out a mural from Old Trafford, right? So what you're saying is it's for some rugby thing, right? Okay, but... It's just interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. That's an old one, yeah? Anyway, but look, you win some, you lose some, guys. That's the thing. In regards to that story, you know, it's probably bollocks, isn't it? Who knows? Rugby League Grand Final, says Rory C. Right, there you go. CR7 setting the Glazers on fire tomorrow, says Kingslayer. That's it. Tune in tomorrow night, guys, for the interview. And tune into this channel afterwards because we're going to be talking about it. But... yeah, the interview tomorrow night should be a bit of a banger. Tonight was just laying the foundations. It was almost getting everyone on board with him, I suppose. And tomorrow he's going to drop the bombshells. Rushy says, because I support Eric Ten Hag and the team, but won't support the Glazers. Want the Glazers out desperately. Exactly, that's how I feel as well. That's why I think it's bad that Ronaldo said what he did about Ten Hag, but good what he said about the Glazers. Big up yourself, MUFC. Thank you, No Such Done. Ronaldo's announcing his retirement in part 2, says YouTube 15. No, he's not, but there was a question asked to him. I think if he won the World Cup, would he retire? And I think he said yes, he would if he won the World Cup. Ronnie Dodge says Varane comments didn't sound he was happy about it, says Ronnie Dodge. Interesting. Darth Scottish says Osimhen can push Rashford and Martial, and David can push Rashford and Martial and Fernandes. Well, yeah, great shout, Darth. Those would be a couple of interesting forwards we've been looking at. We'll never get rid of the Glazers, says Kate Cadet. Let's get where the Glazers give Eric Ten Hag the funds. I fully back Ten Hag now. He needs investment. Yeah, one thing that's coming is a new player in January because of Ronaldo doing this. You want the Glazers out, but players have bottled, should have achieved better, says Jonathan. Well, it's this current set of players needs faith, Jonathan Gallagher, and time. Ten Hag's just been here for a couple of months now, bud. So yes, the previous players and stuff, and a couple of players still. We need to get rid of some players and get more players in. So calm down. Jonathan Gallagher, are you a Man City scummer in disguise or something, bud? Agent Bruno, please get us Fekir, says Ronnie. Ronaldo not having a statue out. Oh, Felix, you mean? Sorry. I thought you said. Yeah, Felix is what you mean there, Ronnie. Rosh Mono says, same are not good enough, as you know. Jonathan, Viva Ronaldo says, Steedy, you'd put a jacuzzi poster there. Thank you, RBSK. Guys, we're going to wrap this stream up there then, but you're a bunch of absolute legends. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and getting in the live chat. Great chat as always, guys. What a community of legends. Let's get some Bacon Brigade emojis in here to celebrate this awesome community of legends. And just thanks for being here. We nearly got 200 likes. Thanks for everyone who's watched and liked the video. Drop a thumbs up on it if you haven't. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch at Flying Pig United. Not doing FIFA tonight, Ronnie. We'll be back on Sunday with that, my friend. Couple of days off the FIFA mags. I'm going away, so I can't do it properly. I probably could do it, but it's just a right bollock ache. Taking a laptop and an Elgato game catcher and an Xbox and all that shit, microphone and all that. It's just a bollock ache. So I'm just going to chill for a couple of days. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Kerfuffle, Sim, Kingslayer, Orlando, Darth Scottish, Midgard, Ill United, Sim, all the moderators, even Jonathan Gallagher and Griffo Chairs. Thank you, you guys. All the members, thank you so much to Gungshi for gifting out 5 members. Thank you to all the super chatters in here tonight. Loads of you mad legends. Thanks for the crazy support. Thank you, Stay Gold. Oh yeah, and there's the merchandise site, guys. So I sent out the last couple of orders this morning as well. So they'll be getting them soon. Thank you to Anthony for ordering a Glazers Out shirt. You can check out the merch right here, guys. There's some awesome merch. To be fair, I won't be able to fulfill orders now until Monday. So, but if you want to order some Glazed Out merch, feel free. There it is right there. There's a link and it's pinned to the top of the live chat. Cheers, Paul, Stay Gold, Must Play, Hoopman, Ben, Paul, Zamaran, Jeff, Ill United, Kerfuffles, Rushmano. Come on, England. Jonathan Gallagher, Barbara, Kingslayer, Must Play, Rory, Jonathan, Blake, Momo Mino, Ill United, Chris Koo, Stay Gold, Midgard, Raskuna, Vutinator. Thank you, Vutinator. Will do, my son. and Midgard and Rajat and all the rest of you legends. That's it from me. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.